Today, I'm delighted to welcome Milena. If feeling a little bit bored with school, Milena found excitement in books and fantasy worlds by experiencing the lives of the characters, their emotions, and their decisions. With these many worlds and creations all playing out in her head, she decided she was going to create a world of her own, and she started writing books. Welcome, Milena.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited because this is your second time to be with us, and I'm looking forward to hearing all the good stuff that's happened since then. But before we start, just tell me, how many books have you written so far?
I have three books out so far, and it's two separate series.
Three books and two series. Okay, and are you still in school?
Yes, I'm going to college now.
Oh, you're going to college now. Wow,
Yes.
it must have been, what, 2 years since you were here before?
Yes, I think so. It's been about 2 years.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, great. So let's see, what else? So tell us a little about your first series, just so we can kind of get oriented a little bit.
My first series is kind of about a little girl. It's a big journey and it's kind of blown up into what it is today. I have two books out for that series now. The first one, the second book. I've been to a few book meetings and a few author meets and kind of met a lot of my readers and the people who have read my books and kind of experienced that. It's about a little girl. She's trying to find her body back because she's been separated. She's a soul. And it kind of devolves into like this long mystery of a book. And there's a lot of action, a lot of things going on with the plot. And the main character, the readers have to kind of figure out if they're willing to trust her or not because she can be kind of an unreliable narrator. So I think a lot of people enjoyed that.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds great. Did you have a mentor or someone that inspired you to do this whole book thing?
No, I did not. I think that mainly it was because I liked seeing different stories and I kind of wanted to create my own because I liked a lot of reading. So I wanted to see if I could do something like that and kind of create my own world and do something different.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I'm just so impressed with you because as an adult, I think I started writing when I was 24. Of course, I was a mother with small children at that time, and it took me so long to get published. It took me so long to figure out, what I wanted. It even took me a long time to figure out what genre or type of book I wanted. So to have you this far along at your age is just to me amazing.
Thank you.
Really great. Yeah. So what's your second series about now?
My second series is kind of completely different. A lot of people make jokes about that the genre is kind of in a different kind of field. It's a little bit about like kingdoms, knights. It goes into that area. And my first series is more involving magic and fantasy, kind of magical realism. So the second series is about a prince and his kingdom, his king. He kind of rules in a dictatorship, and the king is his father, and he doesn't like the way his father is ruling the kingdom and how he kind of treats the people under his rule. And his son is kind of more kind-hearted and wants to do right by his people, and he feels like that's his duty. So his the prince is kind of going against his father, trying to figure out how to go about his life while still learning and trying to be stronger and trying to figure out how to create his own power and how to do things for himself. And he has this little girl that he's kind of looking after as well. She's a little bit older, and he kind of raised her because her parents were not there. And they were trying to just figure out their life, and they kind of have a lot of moral issues. I feel like that's the main premises of the book.
Okay. So it's would you say it is historical or is it still fantasy, just a different type of fantasy?
It's a little bit of both. It's there are some pieces that are kind of accurate in history, kind of I think it's I don't want to mispronounce it, but the Pathleon Stadium, I think it's called. That's kind of in the book as well, or some places. The book mainly revolves around Greek
Oh,
origin, so a lot of the things could be similar to history, but it still mainly revolves around fantasy.
okay. I've seen where they kind of sprinkle some real history in with the other. And Greek is so interesting, really interesting place and time. Was there any particular part of the book that you had some trouble with, like any scenes or?
Yes, there actually was. Sometimes when you're writing the characters, you can get a little bit attached to them, and it's can be difficult writing some scenes, even when there's sometimes villains or characters that do a lot of wrong in the book. But one of the scenes it involved kind of like the villain in the story, but they're children because the second main character she's still a child for most of the book or half of the book. So it kind of was hard dealing with those villains because they're still children and the king could be very cruel. So it's hard to figure out where you morally stand when reading the book.
What a good point. Yeah. And I know, from my own experience that sometimes it's really hard to put these people through their paces or, have somebody die, even if you
Mhm.
don't really like them. It's really hard and it goes, into our emotional space because we're having to do something to the character, but that's part of the story. The story has to have some bad stuff in it, right?
Yes, and sometimes you don't expect to get attached to some characters and you end up doing it right before a scene.
Right, right. Yeah. The characters become alive. Do you feel like, you know them like your friends?
Yes, it kind of depends, but it kind of they start doing their own thing as the book goes on. And then that starts out, I'm writing a story, and then it ends up them just doing their own actions because they're developed and they're their own people now.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry about that. What about naming? Do you have a naming program or naming process that you use to come up with the names?
Yes, I do. When I'm writing my books, a lot of the time I do something based off of either a country or some type of race or religion, maybe. So for my first series, it was all around Russia mainly. There was a little bit of Canada inside because some of the characters are Canadian, but it mainly took place in Russia. So a lot of the book, a lot of the words and the names were revolved around Russian words and Russian places. So my second series it's a lot of Greek words. So in my second series, and my first series too, I kind of write my books while looking at the character's personality. I pick words from that language that kind of correlates with their personality, and I kind of put the words together to kind of create their names. Example with this would be the main character from the book. His name is Kilida, and his name is kind of Greek words put together, but his name kind of originates from being tainted. So that's what his name means.
Hmm, very interesting. Yeah, because you're actually creating new names that didn't exist before, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people that do that with their own children. You'll be well practiced if you
that's true.
yeah. But I also know that sometimes we get so attached to the character names that we do want to keep a hold of the name. Um, my sister named her first daughter Megan, and the main character in my first book was Megan, and she was born right along in that time when I published my
Wow.
first book. Yeah. So they do hang around with us. They do.
That's nice.
Yeah. So if readers could focus on one theme or idea in your book, what would you think that would be?
I would say it would probably be, like I said before, the moral conflicts because the prince has a real hard time figuring out what's morally right, and he kind of strays into different paths throughout the book, and he will continue to do so during the rest of the series. So I think that the books, especially the books that I write, not just with my second series, they present a lot of conflicts that the reader has to kind of figure out whether to trust the main character, who to trust, and because not all characters are reliable, and they have to figure out what they themselves would do in that situation if they don't agree with the main character's actions.
Yeah, that's really interesting because that brings reader engagement to think what is the right thing to do here when you have this dilemma And is that what you were thinking of when you said that, the villain is a child and you have to figure
Yes.
out, yeah,
So although they did bad things, do they really deserve the punishment that they received for it?
right, right. And then thinking historically, what people did back then is not the same as people today. The culture was different. Um, so there's a lot to think about. Do you get
There
reader
is, and I
feedback?
kind of like bringing up those issues. I'm sorry, what was
Yeah.
that?
Do you get reader feedback along those lines? Do people talk to you about that?
Yes, I do. I love enjoying it. When people kind of come back to me and tell me how they felt while reading the book, or if they want me to hurry up and write the next one, I love seeing like what they thought about it, or if they, because I add a lot of little hints or little tidbits around the books, or little things that they would kind of have to look for, like Easter eggs. And I want to see if they like either picked up on it or if they missed some things. And then usually they ask me questions about if they missed anything. Because, like in my first series, in the second book, there's a little Easter egg with each of the chapter designs. So it kind of changes a little bit. So there's little things that you have to kind of pick up with the pictures and either the words or the font that I use in the books.
That is so interesting. I love that idea where you're planting little things in there and then people want
Mm-hmm.
to see if they can find out what they are.
Yes, and it increases the plot of the book too. It kind of adds to what's going on, or it will do a little foreshadowing to what's to happen next.
Hmm. Wow. Well, that will make people want to read your book more than once.
I've
Yeah.
had some people tell me that, yes.
Yeah.
Especially if another book is coming out in the series, then they have to read back the past ones to kind of remember what happened and try to put the puzzle pieces together.
Right, right. That's beautifully done, Melina. That is really well done. When
Thank
you
you.
can get people so emotionally involved in what you're doing that they want to go back and read this, the previous one to make sure they didn't miss anything. I mean, that's very good. So you're in college now, and are you majoring in writing or anything like that?
No, I'm actually not. I'm majoring in art, and next year I will be going to a university and majoring in culinary.
Oh, wow. You
Yes.
are very creative.
Thank you.
Yeah, even culinary is a very creative place to be. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you're going to be designing. You might already be designing your covers.
Yes, I do, actually.
I, as I was saying that, I just had this feeling. I bet she's already doing it.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
really fun. I do enjoy that because I kind of get to put my own creativity into it and do what I want.
Yes, do what you want. Absolutely. Where are you located?
I'm located in Florida, in Tampa.
Oh, in Tampa.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm in Florida too, but I'm up near Tallahassee. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm up north. So, yeah, I was thinking maybe our paths would cross at some event or something. Maybe in Orlando, something like
Yes, maybe.
that.
I
Yeah,
actually went to, I think last year, the Sunshine State Book Festival.
right. Right. Are you going to be there again this year?
No, I don't think I'll be able to make it this year.
Yeah, because I spoke last year, but I'm not speaking this year, but I do have a table again this year. So I was hoping maybe you'd be there and I could see you there.
Okay.
Yeah. So are you working on anything new right now?
I am. Besides the first series, I have the third book to write for that, and then that series, the main series, because I kind of want to do spin-off books in that series with like different characters because they kind of have their own interesting stories too. But for the main series for that book, A Lost Soul is going to be the third book, and then that's going to close. And then I have two more books to write for the second series I did, The Lights Within, and then that will be closed off. I haven't decided yet if I'll do any spin-off series with that, but I don't believe so. And then I do have another book series that I'm thinking of. I already started the first book and I'm really liking that. It kind of goes into a completely different genre as well, more heavily into fantasy, but this time it's more superpowers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. So you have a superhero in the book?
A little less of superhero. It's more of still staying with that moral conflict theme. So it's kind of realistically, if superpowers were to be introduced into the world, how the government would treat them. So it's kind of more on
Oh,
the dystopian side.
okay.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, yeah. That's very cool. Because you can play with that in so many different ways.
Yes. A lot of
Yeah.
things that I kind of think of because one of my favorite book series and movies would be The Darkest Mind. So I kind of get a lot of inspiration with that book from that, but it's kind of in a different way. But I still
Mhm.
really do like that series.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, very good. How do you find time to do this when you're going to college?
I'm not sure. I think a lot of it is just time management. I do try my best and kind of it's easier to write whenever I feel motivated to or whenever I have inspiration to write, then I don't really have to force myself and it doesn't feel like a job. It feels like something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, good for you. And stay in touch because I want to know what else is happening. I'll have you back next year.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about your website, where to find you.
My website is rmalena.com. You can find all my books on there, and my books are also on different platforms. You should be able to find it on places like Barnes and Nobles online and Books a Million. If you go to online bookstores, and primarily they're on Amazon. They're listed on Amazon, so you can either go to my website and find the links to them, or you can go straight to Amazon or a different bookstore.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. This has been great.
Thank you.
And thank you for being with us today. See you next time.